Hi, my name is Hal Sharp, and I welcome you to this Bushido series. Most of this footage I shot in the early 50s while living in Japan, where I developed a passion for Japanese culture, especially the martial arts. I hope you'll enjoy these productions as much as I enjoy sharing my past with you. Now, step on the mat and meet my senseis. Japan was devastated by World War II. Martial arts were forbidden by the Allies until 1947. Japan hoped to build a bridge of friendship by sharing its culture with the rest of the world. These films were made in 1951 through 1956 during the period of Japan's recovery. This film hopes to keep the bridge of friendship alive. Judo in the 1950s. Imagine a world without television or computers and no International Judo Federation rules. Most judo competitions were based on ippon scoring only. The senseis you'll see in this film practiced daily. When they threw you, the first sensation was going through the air. On the mat, they played with you like a parent with a child. Sometimes all you can move was your eyeballs. How could you not help but respect and love these senseis? Hi, I'm Hal Sharp. Over 50 years ago, I was a young judo student in Japan. My senseis were like my parents, and I became a part of their family and dojo. At that time, I never thought about getting old and could not imagine my senseis never being on the mat with me again. Now I am almost 80 years old, and my senseis are no longer with me. In order to keep their teachings and friendship alive, I will now try to show and tell you about them and how I benefited from knowing them. This film is dedicated to Jigoro Kano. He founded Judo over 120 years ago. He was the sensei of my senseis, and they told me what a wonderful guy he was. Here he is sitting with his wife and family. And now we go to Berlin, the 1936 Olympics, with the sensei standing next to Jesse Owens, the American legend. This is a statue of Sensei Kano at the new Kodokan today. This film gives a detailed analysis of each technique using slow motion, freeze frame, and highlighting as needed. From a static position, we emphasize the technique form. By moving about, we emphasize timing and control. And by uchikomi, these are repetitive drills to practice the form. The senseis in this film are Nagaoka, Kawakami, Takagaki, Ito, Kudo, Asami, and Shinojima. Now let us visit Nagaoka Sensei. He's 10th Dan and was one of the disciples of the founder Jigoro Kano. I didn't know him very well, but I thought I'd share these photos with you. Here he is at a tournament with President Risei Kano of the Kodokan, the grandson of Jigoro Kano. Now let us go on the mat with the sensei. Ukiwaza is one of the sutemi or self-sacrifice techniques. Here the sensei pulls him around to his right, and then as the opponent steps forward, he blocks him with his leg and uses his hands in a circular action. Here it is in slow motion. He pulls the opponent first to his right, then as the opponent steps forward with his right leg, the sensei drops down, blocks the leg with a very strong hand action, a circular action, pulling in on the elbow tight, lifting with the other arm, and bridging with his back leg. Yohko gawky was originally a technique against men in armor. Steps back, fall down yourself, driving the person on their leg, then kicking their leg out. Let's do this in slow motion. As the opponent steps forward, right, the sensei is going to drop down, pulling hard on his elbow. As the opponent's weight is on his leg, he kicks it out from underneath him, keeps falling, pulling in on the elbow, and driving him down. Yohko otoshi is like ukiwaza, except you throw sideways. Here he avoids the opponent's action, drops to his side, strong hand action, throws him. In slow motion, he avoids the opponent's throw. As the opponent recovers, the sensei quickly drops to his side, pulls his elbow down, the other hand up. Strong circular action, bridges with his back leg, and throws the opponent. Sumi Toshi is a hand technique, sometimes called kuki-nage or air throw. Here he moves along with the opponent, same direction. As the opponent takes a step, he takes a giant step using his hands in a strong circular action. Here we are in slow motion. Steps along with the opponent. As the opponent takes a step, he steps in the same direction as the opponent, bends his knees, and with a strong hand action, flips him through the air. To be with Kawakami sensei was like being in a judo time machine back at the time of Jigoro Kano. Here we are working out at his dojo. He started his judo in the town of Mito in Ibaraki Prefecture. Here's a rare picture of him with a white belt. In Ibaraki, he did judo, sumo, and bojutsu. He was invited to Tokyo to the Horikoshi Dojo, which was the Yoshin Ryu Jiu-Jitsu school. And these are some of the teachers there. And while he was in Tokyo, he went to Meiji University, where he became captain of their judo and sumo team. Here's a picture of him in his sumo regalia after winning a championship. Look at the built on that guy. Here's another shot of him with the sumo team at Meiji. Here he is when he was about a 5th degree black belt. He became an instructor at the Tokyo Agricultural College and the Merchant Marine Academy. Here's a shot of him just posing in jigotai and surikomi goshi. This is a great photo of his little dojo with some of the kids working out. It was so small we used to bounce each other off the wall. Here's a group photo. This is really great. Now the little guy in the front, right in the center, actually survived the Hiroshima bomb. He was in a train, and he was the only one that lived. There's Kawakami sensei. I'm on one side. His son Ray is on the other. Jim Lang is alongside of the sensei. And here's another shot of the three of us. Ray, the sensei, and myself. And here's a photo of him when he was 73 years old, received his 9th dan and a special award from the Emperor of Japan. Now, let us go on the mat with the sensei. Bojutsu was Kawakami sensei's first martial art. It was a form of fighting using a hardwood staff against swords and spears. Here the sensei is using the jo or short staff. This is an exercise on the use of the staff. Stepping from one side to the other, moving the staff around, but avoiding it swinging outward. The weapon is always kept close to your side. Your hands end up on the butt and in the center, and change position so you can twirl the staff. Here he's going from one side to the other, twirling the staff, hitting the imaginary opponent's weapon. This is doing it in slow motion. He swings across, hitting a low imaginary weapon, twirls it, strikes down, steps across. Now he's fighting on the other side, hits low, twirls the weapon in one hand, catches the butt with the other. Steps across, hits down, twirls it, catches the butt, Brings it up to hit low. Now we'll swing it the butt low to hit high. Changes from one side to the other, back and forth. In a beautiful rhythm. Now this is a two-man drill with the sensei and I. We're not wearing armor, so we have to be careful so we don't whack each other. We start out slow, increase the speed, hitting the staffs harder and harder and harder. This is just moving across sideways. Now we do the up and down thing. Right, you manipulate your weapon, go high for low, low for high. Now the sensei demonstrates with his sun ray a defense against a sword. Shows how he inserts it between the arms, lifts up, and immobilizes the swordsman. Here the sensei is giving a beginner's lesson to a young boy from the village of Kokobunji. First falling backwards. This dojo, by the way, dates from the beginning of the 20th century when judo first began. Falling sideways. Then he moves him around, shows him what it's like to be thrown and how to fall. Doing some foot sweeps. Kid's really enjoying himself. There's a little knee wheel he starts, catches on the other side, takes the boy down, and shows him how to fall. Now, Hadley and the sensei are doing Randoori. Watch how Hadley bounces on that spring floor when he's thrown. Hadley tries an ouchigari, the sensei stops and slides into ukiwaza. See the floor mounts? And here we are in slow motion. Hadley tried ouchigari, and as he steps away, the sensei slides down, catches his leg, and with his hands throws him through the air with ukiwaza. Now the sensei is teaching me katami no kata, the formal mat techniques. Here he's demonstrating kami shio gatami, the upper four corner hold. And now it's my turn to show the sensei. Go down in position. This is all done slowly. Slide in, grab the belt, and go into the hold. And now we'll do nagiwaza throwing techniques. Osotogari, large outer reaping throw. The sensei steps in with his left foot, pulls the opponent's elbow in tight, presses against his neck to drive his weight backwards against his right leg. Then he comes through with his own right leg, still pulling on the elbow and driving against the neck. Hooks behind the leg, again pulling on the elbow, driving against the neck, and then sweeps backwards, throwing the opponent. Side surikomiyashi, ankle tripping throw. Sensei steps in deep, catches the ankle. Steps in, ankle, throws. Here it is again. Steps in, ankle, throws. Now let's see it in slow motion. His right foot steps in, turning inward, so he can pivot 180 degrees. Pulls in on the elbow, lifts up with the other hands like he's turning a wheel. Presses up against the ankle. As the opponent's balance goes forward, he pulls down real hard on the elbow and sweeps up against the ankle and throws him. Dayashi Barai, the advancing foot sweep. The timing is critical here. As the opponent steps forward with his left, he immediately starts to step with his right. The sensei catches the advancing foot from behind, sweeping it upwards, pulling down with the elbow, lifting up with the other hand. Keeps pulling down with one hand and turning with the other, and throws the opponent. Ippon Seoi-nage, one-arm shoulder throw. Sensei throws with a fast snapping action. Comes in, pulls the upper part of the opponent's arm, snaps it real hard, steps in deep, hits him with his hips, hooks with his upper arm, pulls down hard with the other arm, snaps up with his feet, keeps pulling, backs up to finish off the throw. Syrio Toshi is a combination of the one-arm shoulder throw and the body drop throw known as Toshi. He breaks the opponent's balance forward by pulling forward very hard on his left lapel. Then swings through with his left arm and his left leg. Catch the jacket high, brings the leg low under the knee. Still pulling very hard with his right arm. Drops straight down, bringing the opponent across his back. Then throws by pulling down and snapping up with his leg. Very hard action. That's a beautiful throw. Toshi, the body dropping throw. Here he sets the opponent up first, stepping back and pivoting, then drives his leg across, steps back, throws. Here he is. He pivots on his right foot, steps back with his left, pulls down with his right arm, and pushes against the neck, driving the opponent up on his leg. Then he slides down, dropping his leg across the opponent, still pulling down with his left arm and pushing with his right. Throws by snapping up with his leg and pulling hard. Koshi-guruma, the leg wheel. First driving the opponent sideways, puts his leg across, spins and throws. Here it is in slow motion. Pulling with his left arm, pushing with his right, steps back with his left foot, cocks the opponent over on his right leg, pulls in on the arms, and corkscrews with his leg right from the top all the way down, creating a spinning action. Harai goshi, known as a sweeping thigh or hip throw. This is a spinning variation of harai goshi. Sensei breaks the opponent's balance by stepping across, pulling on his jacket, keeping his balance broken to the point of the judo triangle. See it down below? Pulls on the sleeve, still pulling, brings his leg across the knee, and then corkscrews with his leg as he spins the opponent over his leg. Beautiful throw. Seoi-nage is a combination shoulder throw and springing hip throw. This is a specialty of Kawakami sensei. Sensei spins in and throws. Spins in and out. This is a uchikomi. Now in slow motion. Steps across, breaks the opponent to his left front corner. Pulls on the arm, pivots on his leg, drops down low, starts to bring his left elbow under the opponent's left arm, puts his shin against the opponent's shin, pops it out for the throw. Hane-maki komi is a springing hip sacrifice throw. This is unique for Kawakami sensei. Sensei demonstrates with uchikomi in and out. Throws his hand up to do a forward roll as he throws. Here's a full speed. Now in slow motion. Comes in for hane-goshi, swinging his right hand up in the air for the forward roll action. Pulls down on the sleeve, springs out with his leg, starts forward, posts on his arm, and kicks out hard with his leg, and rolls. Wasa are mat techniques. It includes holding, choking, and arm bars. This is a front entry controlling the opponent's legs. He grabs the knees, holds them down, drops your shoulder in. Now just demonstrating the power if your center of gravity is low. His crotch is low to the ground, he can deflect the legs very easily. Try it. You'll see it really works. Splits the legs, the opponent grabs him, comes underneath, grabs the belt, and just sits through. Then turns him over and goes into a hold. Grabs the knees, drops down, moves up the body, puts one knee in one side, and does Yoko Shiho. Now there's a front entry controlling both legs with a figure four. A lot of times the opponent tries to grab your legs with a crossing over, but in this case, he figure fours the one leg, comes in and does Yoko Shiho. Kuzure Keisakatami, the modified cross-chest hold. Sensei holds the opponent's right arm under his armpit, puts his knee under the opponent's right shoulder, and his left arm is under the opponent's shoulder. Uses the left arm as a blocker if he turns in that direction, and also pulls in on the arm to keep him from turning away. Now as the opponent tries to turn back in the other direction, he'll use his knee under the shoulder as a block and his legs spread apart in a triangular manner. Now we'll see escapes from Keisakatami. In the first case, he boots his butt up, pushes him up, and then just turns him over with a bridging action. Now this one's similar, except he grabs the belt, he's going to push him way forward, and then turns him over. Now he brings his legs over the top and locks the arm. Let's watch this again. Legs over the top, locks the arm. Pushes him back, locks the arm, and chokes him with his leg. Has a sankaku on the neck and an arm lock. This is katagatami, the shoulder hold. As he approaches the opponent from the side, pushes his arm against his head, reaches through, clasps both arms. His right knee is in the side, the other leg is out as an outrigger. Let's watch it in slow motion. Pushes the arm against the opponent's head, reaches underneath, grabs his hands, pushes his head down, right knee in the side, the other leg is an outrigger. If he pushes his head forward, it'll actually be a choke. Here are several escapes from katagatami. In the first escape, he picks his foot up, pushes it in the opponent's side, shove the opponent away. As the opponent's arm straightens out, comes in for an armbar. Now the opponent has him pinned. He shoots his legs over the top, holding the opponent's arm that's wrapped around him, turns through, sits through for an armbar. Here it is again. Keeps holding the opponent's arm, turns his head towards the opponent's feet, sits through, armbar. Now we have escapes from Kamishiho Gatami. The opponent's holding you from the top, so you try to get out from the bottom. Just pushing against his shoulder. Here he is pushing against both shoulders, sliding out. Now he's going to do it by pushing the head over to one side, making a space, and pushing against one shoulder, sliding out. Now he demonstrates it going from the other side. Just push the head over with your knee, put your hands on his shoulder, push back, and pull out. And here's one more time from the other side. Push the head over, hands on the shoulder, push and get out. Now we'll enter from a standing position using a throw into a hold, straight arm lock, cross arm lock, and a leg choke. Sensei takes opponent down with a drop knee ouchigari, turns into Yoko Shiho. His opponent attempts to escape, does an arm lock. Now let's see this in slow motion. Drops down on his right knee, hooks his right leg, takes him down. He's into position for Yoko Shiho. As the opponent turns towards him, he catches the arm, steps over the top, and locks the arm. As the opponent goes to turn away, he hooks his arm, grabs his collar, puts his right knee under the shoulder, steps over the top for Juji Gatami. Let's see this in slow motion. Opponent goes to turn away, he hooks the arm, grabs his collar, and holds onto the opponent's collar so he can't turn away. Then he drives his right knee under his shoulder, leg over the top, drops back diagonally for Jujigatami. The opponent turns towards him, he catches the arm, steps over the top and chokes. Let's see this in slow motion. The opponent reaches around, tries to turn towards him. He holds the collar, brings the arm in tight, then steps over the top, leans forward and chokes. Kata Juji Jime, half cross-handed choke with an entry from standing. Sensei controls the legs, drops his shoulder in, goes in against the shoulder, opponent turns over, gets the choke, puts it on. Controls the knees, drops his shoulder down like he's going into a pin, reaches across, grabs the collar, leans on his shoulder, the opponent turns towards him. He reaches over the top, grabs his collar, he now has the cross choke, turns through, he uses his legs to push the opponent down and applies the choke. Studying the choke from another angle, do you notice he catches low, leans over, as the opponent turns towards him, he pushes up, makes a space, grabs the collar, puts his leg over the top and chokes. This is in a little slow motion. Grabs the collar, leans down. You notice he's grabbing the collar low. Comes over the top to pin the opponent. The opponent can only turn towards him. As he does that, he shoves up, grabs the collar, because there's a big opening there. Catches it, rotates his body, has the cross choke, the leg over the top, pushes the opponent down with his leg, and pulls in with his hands for the choke. Top attack into Okuri-eri Jime, a sliding collar choke, sometimes called Hara Jime. Reaches under, catches the collar, reaches under the armpit, catches the other lapel, steps through, and applies the choke. Let's see it closely. Grabs the collar, reaches through, gets the other lapel, steps through, leans on the opponent, and applies the choke. Choking from the bottom with Eri-guruma Jime, a lapel wheel. Opponent comes in, you grab his lapel on one side, push away with your legs, swing the lapel around his neck. Here's a close-up view. Opponent comes in, swing it around his neck, and choke him. This is choking from the bottom using Kataha Jime, a half-sided choke. Cross grip the opponent's jacket, and as he comes forward, the other hand comes over the top, figure fours over the head, and pushes through. There's another look at it. Choking from the bottom using Hadaka Jime, the barehanded choke. Opponent comes into you, push his arm away, grab your own hand, and choke him. Now this is another view. Push the arm away, grab your own hand, your legs are pushing at the bottom and your hands choke. This is a turnover into a hold, then Jujigatami across arm lock, and Sankaku Jime, the triangle choke. Opponent is in a defensive position, reach over, grab his belt, hook his arm, put your head against the arm, and just turn over and you're in position for a hold. This is another application. Grab the belt, catch the arm, roll over, but this time you're going to go into an armbar and choke. Step over the top, control his arm, bring the other arm back into Jujigatami, figure four your legs for a choke. Now in slow motion, Sensei grabs the belt, hooks under the arm, puts his head against the arm, pulls him over, but now he's going to go for an arm lock and a choke. Leans against him, steps over the top, captures an arm for control, pulls his other arm back, straight back into Jujigatami and arm lock, then crosses his legs for figure four. It's called the Sankaku Jime. It's a choke. This is a turnover into an arm lock and choke, sometimes called Jikoku Gatami, or the hell hold. Opponent's in a defensive position. You hook your legs on both sides of them, Grab his belt, pull him over, hook his arm, figure 4 his arm on the far side, change arms, and choke. This is a close-up view of the entry. Catch the belt, hook your arm under the armpit, hook his far arm, there you are, figure 4 his legs, then change arms and choke. This is a little better position to look at. Pull him over, you see you hooking his arm, figure 4ing his legs. Change hands, reach across, choke. Now in slow motion, grab his belt, hook your heel under his armpit, pull down. Meantime you've hooked his right arm, then your legs figure 4 against his arm, change arms, reach across, grab his collar, pull his collar across his neck, and stretch him. Arm locking opponent from the top by using your legs. From the top, hook the opponent's arm and figure 4 it with your other leg. Slide down below the elbow joint. Catch his arm for control and then arch. It's a close-up, hooking the arm, sliding back, figure 4ing, arching with your legs and controlling his arm. And another view of the same thing. This is ude-gatame into hizagatame. It's a reverse arm coil into a knee armbar from a standing position. Here the sensei fakes the opponent out by just pushing the arm down. Then he grabs a sleeve, the wrist, twists underneath, brings him down with an arm lock, drops down, puts his knee on the top, and does a hizagatame. There he is again, faking him out, grabs the sleeve, catches the wrist, turns through, pulls him straight down into the mat, puts his foot on the top, and then the knee. This is an arm lock against a high collar grip. Here the opponent grips your collar high. Use your shoulder and head to secure the hand, and then your hands push down on the elbow. Closer view. The shoulder and head, getting the hand, hands cupped over the elbow. Here's a slow motion view of this here. Capture the hand, cup the elbow, try to keep the body straight, bring him straight down. And now just one more time with a few highlights. That's where we capture the hand and we cup the elbow. And keep the back straight, bring the opponent straight down, almost on his face. This is an armbar against a sleeve grip by your opponent. Come around, cup your hands over his elbow, bring him down. Cup it over the elbow, but you capture his wrist and the bend of your arm. Come around, capture the elbow, keep his wrist in the bend of your arm, take him straight down, keep your back straight. This is an arm lock against a belt grip using hizagatame. The opponent grabs your belt, you push him away with your right leg, drop down, put your left leg over the top as a lock. Drop down, push away with your right leg, your left leg on top, using your knee to lock his arm. Here's what that locking looks like. The foot's on top, and you turn your knee into his elbow. Here it is one more time, without hands. Takagaki sensei lived 79 years and was ninth dan when he passed away. Raised as part of a samurai family, he studied Shufu Ryu Jiu-Jitsu in Mito. Growing up, he studied judo at the Kodokan. He traveled around the world teaching judo. In Canada, he attended college for 3 years. Eventually, he taught judo in India and other Asian countries. He was titled the father of Asian Judo. One day he asked me to co-author his book, which we titled The Techniques of Judo. He handed me a manuscript written over 20 years ago in India. It was brilliant. For each technique, he analyzed when and how to apply the technique and how to avoid and counter the technique. Without a doubt, Takagaki was the most articulate and analytical sensei I have known. He also had a great sense of humor. This is the front cover of our book, The Techniques of Judo. And this is the back cover. This is Takagaki Sensei in the 1930s in India. He also traveled to Nepal, Afghanistan, Burma, and China, teaching judo in all of those countries. Here he is shown with some of the gifts he received from the various countries. Rabindranath Tagore won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. He became enamored with judo and requested a teacher from Japan. Takagaki Sensei was sent to Tagore University to help teach. Tagore wrote a poem in a way dedicated to judo. He said, "Do not humiliate yourself because you don't know. Do not be surprised of danger. Leave your fear to conquer all risks. Awaken your power. Help the weak and defeat the strong. Do not humble yourself as a miserable one without spirit. Leave your fear and believe strongly in your power." This is Takagaki Sensei at Tagore University teaching judo. In the background is Tagore himself. This is Takagaki Sensei in Brazil with Yoshimatsu, the All Japan champion. He's demonstrating self-defense. Here's another scene, defense against a knife. This is the sensei in front of his home in Hakone. Beautiful place with a beautiful hot bath. And here we are visiting him. The Frenchman, Tarquini on the left, the sensei, Maurice Gurel, and myself. Here's some scenes from the Kodokan with Takagaki practicing. Here he's doing his Tomoe-nage. Here he's doing a hand action throw. Syrio Toshi. Now, let us go on the mat with the sensei. Syrio Toshi, the body drop throw. Throwing when the opponent steps forward. This demonstrates the timing as the opponent steps forward. You step in the same direction and pull. Now in slow motion, steps in the direction of the opponent, pulls very hard. As the opponent comes up on his foot, then he crosses his leg. Pulls with his arms in a circular action. One more time at regular speed. Now throwing when the opponent steps backwards. Sensei is demonstrating jumping in and out against the back leg. Chases the opponent back. Starts to pull with the hands and pulls him to the center. Steps back with his left foot to close space. Continues to pull to bring him forward. Drives his leg across as he feels the opponent coming forward. Then uses his hands in a circular action. And one more time at regular speed. Throwing when the opponent stops moving or freezes. Now throwing sideways when the opponent steps either forward or sideways. And the sensei is demonstrating the hand and leg action for throwing sideways. Against the jaw, pulling in tight, like a wheel, and the leg comes across and blocks. Now in slow motion. His opponent is stepping forward. All of a sudden the sensei shoots across with his leg, has the hand circular action, drives the opponent sideways. Now at full speed. Tsubame Gaishi, the swallow counter. First, the sensei demonstrates the foot action. As the opponent goes to sweep your foot, you pull yours out of the way and sweep his back foot. Now in slow motion. Sensei steps forward, the opponent goes to sweep his foot. He bends his foot back, pulls with his hands, immediately sweeps the back leg using the hands so he can throw. Keeps a hand action as he sweeps the leg out. Now here it is at full speed. The Ashi Harai advancing foot sweep. When you make the opponent step forward with his right, you will automatically step forward with the left, and that's when you catch it. Right, left. Right, left. Then you use your hands. Boom. So now in slow motion. Opponent steps right, and as he starts to step left, sensei starts to sweep his foot, and look at that strong hand action. Jerks down with one hand and up with the other in a circular action. And now at full speed. Sasai Tsurikomiyashi, supporting foot, lift and pull throw. Here the sensei demonstrates timing and form. Steps around, lifts up, catches the ankle. Steps around, lifts up, catches the ankle and throws. Now in slow motion. Gets the opponent moving around. He steps around. Now his left foot is pointed inward so he can pivot on the toe 180 degrees. Lifts up, catches the lower leg, and his hands pull up and move in a circular action as he throws. And now at full speed. Nidan Ashi Harai, the double foot sweep. This shows the foot action of a double foot sweep. 1, 2. Now showing the form and timing. Sweep the first one, the opponent lifts it up, and then get the back leg. Now in slow motion. The opponent steps forward with his right. Sensei sweeps it, the opponent lifts his leg up. Quickly the sensei sweeps the back leg using strong hand action for the throw. And now we'll see it at full speed. Kochi-gari, the small inner reap. Throwing with a normal grip. Step back, make the opponent step forward with his right foot, then hook the foot and throw. Here it is in slow motion. Sensei steps back, pulls in, holding near the armpit for better control. As the opponent steps forward, he hooks the foot, sweeps it up, then drives down with his hands to make the fall complete. Here it is at full speed. Throwing with a cross grip. Cross grip opponent, pull very hard as you step back fast and hook his foot. Kouchi on the back leg. When opponent is defensive, drive him back on his rear leg, locking it, then come through and hook. Lift him up, push him on his back leg, come through and hook. Lift up, hook. Lift up, hook. Combination throw, ochi to kochi. Now showing the combination. Ochi kochi. Ochi kochi. Ochi kochi. Okuri harai tsurikomiyashi. Follow, sweeping, lift, pull, foot sweep is a mouthful. This technique is a unique specialty of Takagaki sensei. In this throw, you chase the opponent's foot back and sweep it across the back of him. Step in quick and sweep. That's how you want the leg to go. Therefore, he'll fall like this. There you go. Now in slow motion. He chases the foot back, quickly stepping in with the opposite leg, lifts up high, and sweeps the leg back and across, using his hands to throw the opponent once he's airborne. Tomoe-nage, a circular throw. Tomoe-nage is one of Takagaki's favorite throws. Here he demonstrates self-trills, drops down behind his heels, and bridges with the supporting foot over and uses his hands in a circular action. Here he squeezes the elbows together, drops down behind his heel, foot in the stomach. There we go. Squeezing the elbows together, dropping behind, bridging on your supporting foot. There we go in slow motion. He pushes the opponent back. As the opponent pushes against him, he changes hands, cupping the elbows, pushing the elbows in tight so the opponent cannot do a handstand and escape. As he falls down, his rear goes behind his heel, foot in the stomach, bridges with the supporting foot while he pushes up with the foot in the stomach and uses a circular action with his hands, throwing over his shoulder. Ito Sensei was a great technician, but no fun to work with. No matter what he did, he ended up with an armbar and put the hurt on you. I didn't like hurting people, but he taught me well. To do an armbar, you have to be sincere and have good control. You don't have to injure someone, but it won't work unless you really try hard. Now, let us go on the mat with the sensei. Tomoe-nage circular throw. This film was shot in the Kodokan in 1951. He just floats around his opponent, moves around lightly, pushes him back. He's setting him up for Tomoe-nage, squeezes both elbows in and takes him over his left shoulder. Let's see it a little slow motion now. Pushes his opponent back as the opponent pushes at him. He squeezes both elbows in, brings his leg up, drops down, throws the opponent over his left shoulder, using both legs. Ippon Seoi-nage, the one-arm shoulder throw. Quickly recovering from a throw, at first contact, Ito throws him right off the grip. Now we'll see it in slow motion. They're just recovering from a previous throw. They come together just as Ito contacts his opponent. Grabs him, throws him with left Ippon Seoi-nage right off the grip. Beautiful timing. Koshi-guruma, the knee wheel. Ito balances himself on his opponent's arms, just riding him. Opponent comes in for a throw, just rides up, move around. As the opponent takes a step to his left, catches the knee, Koshi-guruma. Let's watch this again. As the opponent takes a step to the left, he pulls him around, catches the knee, and with a good hand action. Beautiful throw. Udegatami, straight arm lock, one of Ito's favorites. On contact, Ito does a drop knee Syrio Toshi, throwing his opponent. He comes over the top, and he's trying to hook that left arm. He's got one arm coiled around it, his shoulder into it, sweeps it around, tries to get it, steps over the top, tries to lock the arm, shoves it under his armpit and locks it. There's a drop knee Syrio Toshi, strong hand action, throws the opponent, quickly comes over the top, captures the opponent in sort of a Yohko shiho, swings around, but his mind's made up. He's going to get that arm. Hooks the arm, the opponent's trying to get it out of the way. He knows Ito only too well. Leans up against the arm, coils against it, tries a straight arm bar. Opponent escapes, puts his shoulder against the arm, then he swings one arm around, driving the arm forward. Here he goes. His hand comes over the top, Slides along the mat, driving the arm backwards. Captures the arm, then steps over the top to get an arm lock. Here he goes. Over the top. He's got the arm. But he can't seem to lock it. So he'll take it now and swing it around and stick it under his shoulder and lean back, and he's got it. Here we have Professor Cotto of the Tokyo Police Academy. Now, let us go on the mat with the sensei. Harai goshi, sweeping hip throw. Here he's working with Kobayashi sensei. He quickly steps across to his right, does a spinning harai goshi. His left arm was under Kobayashi's armpit. Watch this in slow motion. He steps around, spins through. His left arm is under Kobayashi's armpit. Then he corkscrews his leg to spin Kobayashi through the air. Kobayashi attacks with ouchigari. As he takes a step forward with his left foot, immediately Cotto spins through. Let's watch this slowly. Here's Kobayashi stepping forward. There he goes. Here's the spinning harai goshi, lifting with the left arm and corkscrewing with his left leg. Osotogari, large outer reap. Cotto times his osotogari when his opponent steps forward with his right foot. There's Kobayashi stepping forward. He comes in to meet him, catches him, clean throw. Now in slow motion. As Kobayashi steps forward, he steps forward to greet him, hooks the leg, drives hard with his right arm against Kobayashi's neck. Nice high throw. This one's going to be like an Osoto Toshi. Doesn't work about the timing. Just pulls it on the elbow tight, pushes against the neck, and goes for it. There he goes. Right in, hooks hard, power throw. Koshi-guruma, the knee wheel. Cotto changes his right arm behind Kobayashi's shoulder, steps around quickly, and catches him with Koshi-guruma. Let's watch this slowly. Takes his arm from the top, brings it around, almost to the back of Kobayashi's shoulder. Then quickly steps around with his left foot, pulls Kobayashi's shoulder in real hard, breaking him forward. As Kobayashi leans forward, he blocks the knee and throws. Kobayashi tried to throw, fails. Cotto tried his Koshi-guruma, reaches around the back, spins again. Let's watch this slowly. Then moving around, reaches behind Kobayashi's shoulder. Then quickly, he steps around, twists Kobayashi, catches his knee, and throws. It's a side Tsunekomiyashi to propping ankle throw. Here the opponent tries a throw, comes in again for Hanagoshi, sweeps him up and catches him with Sigh. Let's watch this slowly. The opponent is attacking with Hanagoshi. He lifts him up, counter throws with Side Tsunekomiyashi. Tomoe-nage, circular throw. He's got that shoulder again. Looks like he's trying for Koshi-guruma. Nope, drops down for Tomoe-nage. Looks like he's going to try Koshi-guruma, reaches behind the back. Kobayashi tries a Kochi. He immediately drops down to Tomoe-nage, squeezing both arms in, throwing him over his left shoulder. Asami sensei was my teacher and friend. He was one of the head instructors at the Keisho Taekwondo, which is the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Academy. He also was at the Kodokan, and I was a member of his dojo. Here he's demonstrating Kimi no Kata at the All Japan Championship. Sitting around the table in the foreground is Watanabe, myself, Asami, and Kobayashi. Under this table is a kotatsu. It's a hole in the ground with charcoals on a grate. Later you'll see when he's practicing judo, Asami has a bandage on his toe. I said, "Sensei, is that from judo?" He says, "No, from the kotatsu." Now, let us go on the mat with the sensei. Kouchi Makikomi, small inner reap and roll. As the opponent stops, he quickly steps back with his right, hooks with his left, and drives down. Notice his right hand is on the high end of the opponent's jacket. His left hand is behind the collar. As the opponent stops, he steps back, hooks, pulls down hard with his hands, keeps hooking, drives his chest into the opponent's chest, pulling down very hard with the hands, pushing off with the back leg as he plants the opponent. Now this is another angle. Comes in, hooks, drives, and turns his back slightly into the opponent. You'll see this a little better in the slow motion shot. As the opponent stops, he quickly steps back, hooks, his hand action starts driving the opponent back, gets his chest into the opponent and turns his back into him. That helps drive a little harder. Now this is an uchikomi drill. 1, 2, 3. Koshi-guruma, the knee wheel. Grips near the shoulders, and as the opponent starts to move his left foot forward, he catches it. Let's do it in slow motion. Gripping high on his shoulders, he steps around with his left foot with his toe pointing in, pulls on the opponent. Watch, his left foot is in a straight line with the other 2 feet. Blocks his knee, has a circular action with his hands, keeps that action going as he sweeps up. This is sort of an uchikomi drill. Notice he catches highs, so he has no slack in the gi. Steps around with his toe pointing in, catches the knee. Again. Harai goshi, sweeping thigh throw. This is a spinning harai goshi. First he breaks the opponent's balance, steps across, turning his foot in, spins on the ball of his foot, pulling hard, gets across his thigh, and spins. That's sort of a corkscrew action when you sweep. Now he's just practicing in and out, like an uchikomi. Notice he lifts the right arm up from under the armpit. A lot of lifting power there. Uchimata, the inner thigh sweep. He catches the opponent's left shoulder high, sort of a pocket grip. Now he moves the opponent around to his left in a circular action. Then he steps in and starts to sweep from the inside like a hanigoshi. Pulls real hard, rotates his thigh, throws clean. This is like an uchikomi, moving the opponent around and just coming in, pulling him around you. Here we go again. You notice he hit on the inside. This is a close-up of the legs. Steps back, hits the inside thigh. Now this is catching an outer thigh. And when the person's down on their knees, catches the other leg. Here it is in slow motion. Shinojima was barely 5 foot tall, and he loved to work out with the big foreigners. Here he is doing a shoulder throw. This was one of his favorite techniques. He often tried to show me this technique, but I just couldn't get underneath him. This is rare 1951 footage of Shinojima Sensei demonstrating Yama-rash, the throw made famous by Sagata Sanshiro. As the opponent steps forward, he cross grips, pumps down first, then quickly snaps up, brings his elbow underneath, and throws. Here it is again. Pulls down, up, and throws. Let's see it in slow motion. Steps, pulls down, snaps up, brings the elbow underneath, bends his knee deep, twists, and pulls. And one more time, let's watch it in regular speed.